We are Group 9 and I'm 马英九. 大家好，打电话。
I'm Emily. I act Miss Tsai Ying-wen. I'm Monica and I act the anchor and the master of ceremony.
And I'm Joanne and Song Su.
I'm Joy. I act CCTV's reporter.
Hello, and I'm the reporter of Mango Daily Report.
I'm Elvis and I'm the Apple Daily Report.
Hello, I'm Bella. I'm a commenter.
Good afternoon, everyone. 我不是沈春华，我是李梦华。Welcome to TVCS. It is an important day that 2012 presidential first debate will begin at noon, and people pay a lot of attention to it. So after this debate, we will have the commenter Bella Su to discuss and analyze with us. Now we are going to report the live from the debate to give you the latest news. Welcome to 2012 presidential first debate. I'm Monica Lee, and all of the things are sponsored by TVCS and the e-show examiners. And this debate will be seen on TVCS channel and tvcsnews.com, and so that you can log on and check it on the website and have some reactions. Now let's meet the candidates. The first one is KMT's president, Mr. Ma. Okay. Second one is the Democratic Progressive Party's chairman, Ms. Tsai. And the third one is the People First Party's chairman, Mr. Song. There are two sections in our debate. The first one is free debate. The order is decided by the draw lots, and each person has 2 minutes to answer and state. Mr. Ma is the first order to state his questions. Please state your questions in 2 minutes.
Thank you, Monica. Ms. Tsai, as you have mentioned in your speech that it is you, Tsai Ying-wen, that is standing in front of us, not Chen Shui-bian. But it's also important to notice that many of your team members are coming from Chen Shui-bian's campaign team. And you yourself must also be aware of that. So you state that the campaign team wouldn't necessarily be the team in charge. So if so many people from one team are currently involved in crimes and prosecution, how would you say this team is a good one? And your team members are also even being sentenced and convicted because of inside trade or even corruption. So on what ground can you say that DPP's team is better than KMT's? And I'm also curious about how Mr. Song would have to say about this. Thank you.
According to the draw lots, Ms. Tsai is the second candidate to answer Mr. Ma's question. Please answer your questions in 2 minutes.
One thing I want to tell President Ma is that you have been a president for a long while, about 3.5 years, as well as the leader of KM team. You should know that whether or not the team is good, is efficient, or is upright depends on the leader of the group. So like I said, if a leader can guide the group efficient and guarantee the integrity, of course this team is absolutely upright. After 2009, we DPP review and make self-examination. We never forgot a lesson. And we always stand the same side with all nations. We cherish all the appreciation from our supporters. And we are clear about the disadvantage, and we will focus on the positive discrimination. The key point is all about the leaders. President Ma, you say that there are some people belong to DPP involved in a judicial case. Of course, this under the law. However, you can't say something like because of some people did something bad and you say the whole group is bad. In terms of KMT, there are some people not associated with bribery. That means you lead a group which would pay for voting. So again, the leader is the most important part. In which way, how, and what does the leader guide the group? My team is absolutely efficient and upright. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for Ms. Tsai's response. And then the last one is Mr. Song. Please answer the questions in 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll talk about. I think Tsai Ing-wen has a close relationship between Chen Shui-bian's team, and her behavior gives bad impression to people. And people all know that Chen Shui-bian involved in corruption, and China and Taiwan relationships are not distinct. And I will set the good direction of policy and do my best to establish the good relationship with China.
Okay, thanks for 3 candidates' responses and statements. And the first section is finished. Let's move to the second section. The second section is Q&A time from 3 different reporters. The first one is from Apple Daily report, Elvis. Please state your questions.
I want to ask for President Ma, and what do you think of the policy of allowing of the Chinese students be exchanged to Taiwan?
Okay, thank you for your question. Our party is in favor of this policy, and we have main 3 reasons. First of all, this policy will foster the positive competition. The competition coming from China is an unneglectable and allowing them to be exchanged to Taiwan will undoubtedly force our students to be more aware of the fierce competition around the globe. And second of all, this will stimulate the academic and cultural communication between both sides, and which is undoubtedly beneficial to everyone. And the last part is that it will give our students a better view of international competition, which will make us more competitive in the future. And that's all.
Okay, thanks for Mr. Ma's response. And the next reporter is from Mango Daily Report. And please ask your question.
Should the government increase the tax revenue in order to balance the public welfare resources? Next time, please.
Thank you. According to the government's operation so far, the government could budget more funds for public welfare resource, and I think it is not necessary to add tax revenues. Besides, the government will carry out the new youth welfare and price with interest protection law. And it is that 5 million teenagers can have more interest and protection.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Tsai's response. Then the last reporter is from CCTV's report, Joy.
I want to ask Mr. Song. For over a decade, those 2 political parties have taken the power in turn. Even though they increased the social welfare budget, the resource is not repatriated fairly. The rest adopt limits to support 4.6 million people, but each one only share 3 NT per day. 90% of their education budget will be used for human resource rather than educational purpose. It causes school bullying, sexual abuse, physical punishment. In addition, the poor cannot afford tuition and apply for help. May I ask you a question? Once you are elected to be a president, would you raise the tax for balancing the social welfare budget, especially raise the child and adolescent welfare?
Okay, let's talk about your question. 2 aspects should be taken into account. First is how do you take care of the adolescent, and the second is how do you let the adolescent to embrace the hope. And my first promise to recover the 100 billion education budget as 50% of the annual national budget. And secondly, the president should integrate all of the national organizations like education department and young affairs department to solve the problem of the adolescent, not discard the responsibility of his own. And that's all.
Thank you for attention, and our debate is finished. Let's pass the thing back to the anchor. Okay. I believe after this debate, many people have a lot of questions to that. So we invite the most professional Bella Su to discuss and analyze with us. Welcome, Bella Su.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, and what's your standard to see the whole debate?
I think for me, I have. For me, I have four different types of the standard to judge the candidate, and each of the standard can be divided into the four different small pieces. And the first one is the whole style, and the image and the manner, and the breadth and the pattern is technically weighted. And the second one is the policy and the statement, the core of their thought, the future promising, and the logical and the coherence. And the third one is the media spotlight, and the originality and the innovation, and their point of view, and the highlighting the theme. And the final one is the inspiring comment and the storytelling, and their experiences, and finally is the touching coding.
Okay, so your standards are divided into four parts, which are whole style, policy statement, media spotlight, and inspiring comments, right?
Yes.
Through these standards, I believe we can have a very good analysis to the audiences. Okay, and we have to discuss the four following questions through these standards. The first one is, what do you think about Mr. Ma's statement?
For me, I think President Ma's questions may be a little dangerous because they might put himself into the trap. Besides, I think President Ma should pay more attention on his rival, Ms. Tai, instead of the past events, such as the cases about the ex-president Chen Shui-bian. Yes.
Okay, so you think his statement is a little bit dangerous, and yes, I think so. And but I think maybe some people may think that is one of his strategies to conflict others.
Yes.
Okay, the next one is, how about Ms. Tai's answer?
I think Ms. Tai's answer can clearly point out why they are devoted to the people, and I think she got a good point that she emphasized that the leader is the most important factor to a group. Just like an old saying said that one swallow does not make a summer. I think this is a very good point to support herself.
Okay, I agree with you, and I also think that she holds great composure to on the stage and when she answers her questions. And the next question is, how about Mr. Song?
I think Mr. Song's answers can appeal the problems which the Blue Party and the Green Party have. And besides, I think he's the only person who cares more about people.
Yeah, he mentioned that a good teamwork should involve belief gathering, and people's the most important thing is people's expectations. So it's more neutral and more he cares more about people. Yeah. And so the last question is, overall, what's your opinion for their performances in the whole debate?
I think the President Ma's lacks of the cultural and he just focused on the previous event, such as the Chen Shui-bian's case. And unlike his performance in the previous debate, indeed he become more aggressive and tougher. But I think being a president, I think it seems that he somehow lack of the manners because he kept criticizing his two rivals. And as for Miss Tsai, I think that's interesting that she keeps reminding the President Ma that his real rival is not Chen Shui-bian but herself. And I think Miss Tsai not only behave properly but also acts a real leader. And even though she somehow lack of the attitude, her attitude is a little gentle and not strong enough. But I think she can speak clearly and precisely. And besides, I think she can turn a professional chance into the easy language audience and make sure the audience, the one who want to have a deeper understanding of the debate, I think it's very nice to audience. And I feel as for Mr. Song, I think he just acts like an onlooker. He just try to want to jump out the parties and draw out a party and the argument between the President Ma and Mr. Song, Mrs. Tsai. From the beginning to the end, all his statements are all for a positive appeal. And I think Mr. Song's performance is very steady and well organized. And it seems that he somehow concealed his real ability. And I think the most important of all, the overall of the candidates should be brave enough to face the real problems, and they should give the reasonable and appropriate answers to the people. And I think they don't try to escape what the opposite side said. And I think, after all, I think the main intention in this debate is not just win the game. The most important thing is they should make the made the promise and made the promise into practice, and they should care more about people, and they should be really responsible for themselves too, and brave enough to set their own fault, and they should create a promise and really a better environment for Taiwan people like this.
Okay, thank you for your clear expressions and analysis to us. And I'm Li Monghua, and see, don't forget to see the next debate from Vice President. Okay.
Have a nice weekend.
See you next time. Bye. Bye.